YouTube fam, the Maverick in the space again. You know, see what's happening, don't? Yeah. So the Maverick watched the two presentations, one by the leader of the opposition, Marky G, and then the long and elaborate one from the most honorable Bro G. And let me say this. It's the first time, well, probably the first time me pay such close attention to a budget debate, to be honest. To the extent where I still watch 7 hours of speech, basically. 4.5 from one and I think 3.5. How much? 8 hours that whole past speech per watch. And it's the first time, well, the first time I watch them out. So the first time I see so much promise combined between the two of them. Jamaican people get promise till them dizzy. But we evaluate the two presentations them now, comparatively. Marky G, his presentation was filled with whole per substance. Cover all our bases, basically. Touch the right keys. And I think, in terms of a balance and touching all the bases, covering all the bases, Marky G did that. Yeah. Obviously, you know, you have social programs, you have, you know, your foresight for what you're going to do. If you kind of drive economic growth in the future. Him cover all of the bases. To the extent that at the end of Marky G's presentation, the only thing the critics could have come up with was the fact that he never detailed how he going to fund the budget. You know, generally, critics and analysts and political opponents tear the presentation apart based on the substance of the presentation or lack thereof. I never heard even one criticism of the substance of Marky G's presentation. The lone criticism was that, boy, you need to tell me how you're going to fund it. And it's a credible criticism, and I think subsequent to that now, I have seen documentation where kind of detail how the funding of the budget are going to take place. Bro G now, it's an election year, so you expected an extensive presentation from the Honorable Bro G. Hope people are ball about how it long. Me expect it for long. Guys, an election budget this, you know. And you expect the goodies, all of the goodies were there, you know, basically. In terms of the actual presentation itself, I think Brogard was better. Much smoother, much more, you know, articulate, more relaxed. And understandably, at the 10th time, Brogard had do a budget presentation. You know. I don't think Marky G have even quarter the amount of experience of doing budget presentations where Brogard have. So expectedly, Brogard's presentation in and of itself, better. I give him the edge on that one. He was much more relaxed and crack some joke on him. Man do him thing. But across the two of them now though, me basically think them cancel out each other in terms of promises and what, you know, the plans are. Whole heap of promises in a Brogard something. Because remember say, Brogard was 9 years in the government already, you know. Seeking a further 5. See? And maybe the initial part of the speech where matter about the economy again, me think is a kind of overkill. You know why? People, the common man in the street, we are dealing with him bread and butter. When you keep beating him about how good the economy is and him not feel it in a film space, you know. It's almost like that disrespect him, you know. Or you're being insensitive to his plight, you know. Because him hear you upon this podium and see you in the parliament and talk incessantly about how wonderful the economy is and is the best economy in the history of Jamaica. And all these wonderful things. And you're still in a film life, in a film space. He must struggle to pay him rent. He must struggle to pay him light bill and him water rate and him all the basics. Must struggle to buy food. They must struggle to send them picnic to school. Me feel it smacks a little bit of insensitivity when you keep beating him over his head with that. And bear in mind, you know. So if you crunch the numbers, you know, the majority of Jamaicans more than likely find themselves in that particular position. So me feel the economy thing was a bit of an overkill. Now me have a criticism for knock both parties for over the years, and of course it come up again in the presentation. The consistent use of the NHT as a political football. The two parties them do it. Both Marky G and Brogard do it again. But not them alone. Them predecessors used to do it too. The concept when the NHT was set up on, you know, people is to provide affordable housing for NHT contributors who are simple, hardworking Jamaicans, you know. Affordable housing, you know. Now, over the years, the NHT has evolved into a political bank account where both parties, in every budget presentation, them go to them go to action is for drop like more goodies for the people them who contribute to NHC, to the NHC, and who will be able to buy a house. Now if you look at the housing market in Jamaica, the majority of NHC contributors are still priced out of the market. And as much as them drop a little thing so, the NHC is not achieving its original objective. And I feel it is shameless for year after year, administration after administration. All them use the NHC, if you know, and come in at them budget debate and make promises based off of the NHC. When the average NHC contributor still can't get a house we live in, cannot afford a house we live in, which is defeating the initial purpose of the NHD in and of itself. Because if you look on this budget debate, you know, between the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition, you know, the high point of them debate, you know, had to do with, projections based on what they want to do with the NHD funds, you know. I think it's disgraceful across the board, because that is not what the NHD was set up for. I think at some point, some brave visionary leader have to do something about this. Them little token something whatever do with the NHD, you know. It now going to move the needle in terms of the availability of housing and the accessibility of housing for the average NHD contributor. Sick and tired of every year, every budget debate, both sides, all they can come with and push them on in an NHD pocket and say, look more goodies here, say, look more goodies here. And the majority of contributors them now benefit. Overall, all things considered, I think substance for substance. There's a point when Brogard go back to all the FinSac years from 1990s and in order for bolster and point about how wonderful the Jamaican economy is and his prowess and the JLP's prowess in, you know, getting the economy back up and running after the debacle of the 90s. I'm not sure how much that will resonate with the people who want to live in an era now going forward. I'm not sure about that. So in terms of substance, I think probably them cancel out each other. In terms of presentation, as I say, Brogard was better. But understandably. But overall, we give it to them a tie. It's a tie. It's a tie. It's a tie. What I say? We don't know. You see right now, the election is up for grabs. Because what me think, you see that economy thing with Brogard, me think him overestimated. And yes, him in a power, him in an office. Me think him is a little bit, I think, that was my perception, a little bit out of touch with the reality of what going with the average Jamaican on the ground. And me think because the PNP and Mark Golding, me think because him out there a campaign so long, he's a little bit more in touch with what is happening on the ground with the average Jamaican. And it's going to be up for grabs. Right there, sir. The elephant in the room will be voter apathy. Yeah? If the voter turnout is low, it will favor Brogard and the JLP. If enough people motivated to get up off of them laurels and go to go vote on them condition, if the voter turnout high, it will favor the PNP. You see the number of people, the bulk of people we are talking about where the economy argument don't apply to them in for them life. If enough of them people go to go vote, it can favor the PNP. But again, me say the elephant in the room are the apathy. And of course, you know, the organization on the day will be crucial. But I don't think you can force out people to go vote when they really want to go vote. So that it will minuscule the operation on the ground if people genuinely don't want to go vote. Conversely, if people genuinely want to go vote, I don't think that will move the needle either. So the election is still up for grabs. Even Stevens is not the budget debate. What do you say? What do you say? Jive and talk. Maverick and jive and talk.